What are you girls looking at?
We're taking a look at all this crazy news that just dropped for your video game, Logan, and in all honesty, I'm still trying to figure out whether or not this news is good or bad. But regardless, happy Halloween, true believers, and all you merry Marvelites, and welcome back to another very interesting video pertaining to the upcoming Marvel's Wolverine game, which is currently in development by Insomniac Games. Now, forgetting about the absolutely atrocious hacking attack that Insomniac experienced late last year, we still have yet to hear or see anything actually officially be revealed from Insomniac pertaining to this Wolverine game ever since the title's official announcement all the way back in September of 2021. And while we have heard quite a few inside details relating to this game throughout the past few years, and even heard recently that we might be seeing some official footage from Marvel's Wolverine relatively soon, the latest update that we now have about this game is definitely the last thing that anyone expected to see be announced, which is what we're going to be fully diving into today. So if you're excited about the future of Marvel's Wolverine like I am, then definitely be sure to whip that like button and subscribe to the channel for even more Marvel Games videos like this down the line. So coming out of literally nowhere, we recently received a pretty massive news bomb from a gaming industry journalist by the name of Steven Totillo, where Steven went on to post on social media and share a brand new article that he wrote for GameFile.com. Double scoop! Brian Horton is no longer creative director of Marvel's Wolverine from PlayStation and Insomniac. He is now creative director of Perfect Dark from Xbox and The Initiative. And in the meantime, the main leads of Ratchet & Clank are now running Wolverine. Now, at the time of this recording, which is pretty much right when this post was published, is that we have not received any official statement from Insomniac nor Brian Horton himself as to what exactly their perspectives are on this news. However, that's not to indicate that this news is by any means fake, considering that Steven himself is a very credible gaming industry journalist with reliable sources, which makes me even more curious as to why exactly this is all happening in the first place. Well, as Steven describes within his article, is that two major upcoming first-party video games have gotten big changes at the top.
Change? Yeah. Big change.
As part of an unusual leadership shuffle, GameFile has learned. Brian Horton, who was publicly named as the creative director of Sony and Insomniac's upcoming Marvel's Wolverine PS5 game in 2021, has been off the project since the summer. Two sources familiar with the matter told GameFile. The game is now being helmed by creative director Marcus Smith, as a rep for Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed to GameFile, and alongside of that, Mike Daly will serve as Wolverine's new game director. Wolverine's previously announced game director, Cameron Christian, will remain at the studio in a different role, as GameFile understands. And for anyone who might be a bit worried about this transition, it doesn't seem like that we have anything to fear, because Smith and Daly are a formidable new duo for Wolverine. They previously held creative director and game director roles, respectively, on Insomniac's acclaimed 2021 PS5 release, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And yeah, speaking as someone who's already thoroughly played through Rift Apart, that game is absolutely phenomenal. The change atop the Wolverine development team are the result of creative decisions around the game, as the two sources told GameFile. SIE's rep declined to comment on the reason for the role changes on Wolverine. Now, as for Horton, who previously worked as the creative director on another lauded Insomniac game, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, he has already found a new high-profile gig. He's the new creative director of the Xbox-published Perfect Dark, the highly anticipated first-person shooter that is being co-developed by Microsoft's The Initiative and Embracer-owned Crystal Dynamics. Horton will be, quote-unquote, bringing his wealth of experience to the upcoming reboot of the classic Secret Agent series, as an Xbox rep confirmed to GameFile. Now, all this news is immensely intriguing to say the least. Even though it's nice to know that both Marcus Smith and Mike Daly will take over for Brian Horton to lead Marvel's Wolverine into the future, it does make me very curious as to why exactly Brian Horton decided to leave in the first place. Now, a pretty important factor to keep in mind with all this news is that Brian Horton did in fact previously work for the developer that is currently working on Perfect Dark, with Crystal Dynamics. And before he started to work full-time at Insomniac, he was one of the main creatives in charge of all the massive Tomb Raider games that Crystal Dynamics was making at the time. So maybe all the developers currently working on Perfect Dark simply needed Brian's expertise to make sure that that game would be the best product that it could possibly be. But if I am being completely honest here, I actually am now a bit worried as to what exactly this might mean for Marvel's Wolverine. Whether it be for a movie, TV show, or video game, anytime that any of the main creatives behind the project end up leaving during the middle of its production always makes me a bit trepidatious as to what the final product will end up being, and what exactly all these different creative decisions were surrounding the game that made Brian want to leave in the first place. And trust me, if something similar were to happen with another game that Insomniac is likely working on with that of Marvel's Spider-Man 3, and we were to somehow hear that Brian Intar decided to step away from the project before the game even released, then that would definitely give me a cause for concern. But regardless, Marvel's Wolverine has pretty much been shrouded in secrecy for quite some time now, and I can only hope that by the time that we actually see official gameplay of Marvel's Wolverine in action, that it will live up to all the standards that die-hard Wolverine fans have been expecting from this title ever since day one. So fingers crossed that we end up seeing more from this game sooner rather than later. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for all you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about all this crazy Marvel's Wolverine news, and how do you think the game will turn out given this brand new leadership within Insomniac Games? Let me know what you think, be sure to leave a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel's Wolverine videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and until next time, peace out.